What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, this is where we talk about the news topics that happened in the scale world of RC over the past week. If you enjoyed the Scale News Update, hit the like button. Let's jump into this week's topics. First for this week, Arrma sponsored a NASCAR. Horizon posted it up on their social media showing the livery on the Michael McDowell Motorsports NASCAR. Now, I believe that this was just a one race deal. It doesn't appear that it's going to be for the remainder of the season, at least from what I took from the post put out by Horizon and Michael McDowell Racing. Now, the race happened last weekend and they finished 19th overall. The car looked great. The livery looked nice. When they posted on social media initially, the comments on it were just all people thinking it was a new RC car, not understanding that it was just a sponsored full-size car with an Arrma livery on it. It meant for a lot of interesting comments and corrections made by an Arrma to educate the people that it was indeed a full-size car that was just being sponsored. Still, would be cool to see an Arrma Nascar. Next, RC Overdrive released the kit version of their Carbon Assault monster truck. We saw them release the ready-to-run version of this rig, I believe last year sometime, but this is now the kit version. And if you go onto RC Overdrive's website, when you go to the page for the kit, basically you're presented with the base vehicle and the price for it. But they also have added a number of options below that you can configure additional items, such as if you want to add wheels because the kit doesn't come with them. Same goes for tires, radio gear, chargers, batteries, servos, ESC, the whole deal. Now the wheels and tires, there are several options to pick from that look like they would probably do quite well. Anything from some plastic beadlocks to machined aluminum options. And then the tire options, again, a number of different ones. As far as the electronics go, pretty much standard RC four-wheel drive options. Probably best to skip those if you're looking to build something of higher quality. Beyond that, the base of the truck looks to be mainly unchanged from what I can grasp. It does state that it still has the D44 wide axles. They were kind of RC4 Drive's modular system. And it uses the AX2 two-speed transmission, which is kind of a 3-gear style converted to be a functional 2-speed. And everything else seems to be just as before. It does list the King shocks that can be filled with oil, which was an interesting set of wording choices for the description. If you've been looking for a monster truck and you wanted just kind of something that was in one package deal, here's an option for you. You can check out the link to the RC4 Drive website in the description below, as well as the links to the rest of this week's stories. Boom Racing released some new small scale crawler tires. These are a 3.8 2-inch tall overall 1.9. These do have a very Maxxis Trepador tread pattern to them, but they aren't licensed, of course. These ultra small tires do still fit a standard 1.9 wheel, and the tire compound is their standard Gecko compound. If you're interested in some tiny Maxxis-like tires, I'll link to where you can see them below. And speaking of new tires, specifically tiny tires, Duratrax is releasing a bunch of Class 1 labeled tire options. Now, Class 1 meaning that these tires are 4.19 inches tall. Duratrax has previously offered other 1.9 and 2.2 tires. These new Duratrax tires are being released in some familiar tread patterns, including the Scalar, the Deepwoods, the Ascend, and the Showdown. Now, these are also being offered in pre-mounted versions as well. So if you don't feel like mounting your own tires, you can buy them already done. In the past, the Duratrax tires have done okay. They're a little soft without being that sticky, and the foams are usually beyond soft. So if you're thinking about picking any of the tires up, a good set of foams, also a good idea. Also new this week, Charisma is releasing a new color option for the SCA 1E. They're showing that Ford F-150 being offered in a new black color. And with that, they've also updated a couple of things, like now offering a 5-slot motor in it and a new lower gear ratio. So some small changes, but improvements nonetheless. Also this week, Cross is teasing a new JT4 platform. Now up to this point, they've had a number of different platforms with 2-letter designations. This new JT4, they're only showing a single photo of it. And from my little bit of digging around, I see that the Cross RC website that is based overseas has updated their main page to lump the JT4 in with the AT4, also commonly known as the Emo. So it looks like this is going to be a very similar truck to that. At the very least, it appears that it has the same portal axles that the AT4 has. No specific information has come out on the JT4 yet though, so we're just gonna have to wait and see if anything is new or innovative about this, or if it's just a very similar product to the AT4 with a slightly different body. Another new product that was on the RC 4-wheel drive website is the TCI Heavy Duty R4 single speed scale transmission with OU drive transfer case. And what I think that they're getting at is the OU, or over under drive transfer case, is now attached to the scale transmission that they had previously. It's just all in one package. The term over under really isn't used as much as just an overdrive transmission now. And if you're not familiar with what overdrive is, it's basically trying to turn the front and rear wheels at different rates. Faster in the front, slower in the rear. This aids in a number of different aspects of scale driving for performance. Tighter turning, better climbing. It of course does have some downsides as well, but that's the main reason that people are looking for that as an option. Now with this, it does come with multiple gears, and it has a number of gear ratios you can choose from, 6 different gear ratios to be specific. Now on their website, they don't give you an overdrive percentage. They give you a percentage the front axle will spin faster than the rear. That's not technically the best way to calculate overdrive, but what they're giving you for information is not incorrect. You can have it out of the box with no overdrive. That's how it actually ships. If you want to install the gear sets to create more overdrive, then you can do it with whatever combination you're looking for. The most mild gear set you can install will spin the front axle 27% faster than the rear. The most aggressive will spin the front axle 67% faster than the rear. If you want to learn how to calculate overdrive, I do have a whole video on that if you want to go through all of the math. Up to you. I'll link it as well in the description below. But one thing to note, if you do go with the more aggressive overdrive percentages that this transfer case can give you, make sure you're aware that that is putting a lot of stress and strain on driveline components as well as electronics. So be careful. Make sure you understand what you're getting into when you're doing this modification. Lately, we've discussed some van bodies and found another one. This one is from L&L Models, which is a company based out of the UK. And they have a Ford Sport van. This is for the Tamiya TT01 and TT02 platforms, but it's just a good looking vintage style van. It's 190 millimeter size, which is smaller than like our scale trucks. But if you're a fan of any of the Tamiya vehicles with the plethora of them that are out there and you want to change it up, put one of these kind of cool retro van bodies on there, this one looks great. It is a new release from L&L, so if it's out of stock, check back later. Could just be a popular new item. Also, L&L is not a company that I was familiar with, and they have a ton of body options that look pretty good. So if you've never checked out their website, browse around, see if there's anything else that you like as well. And then there was a release that I saw from Horizon this week that just kind of made me laugh a little bit. Proboat, which is one of Horizon's brands, released a 30-inch tugboat. It just made me laugh a little bit because someone like myself who's not in the RC boat community, I see that and go, who would want a tugboat? It's hard to imagine. But it does come with these little arms that you can attach to actually go retrieve boats that may be stuck out in the water somewhere and you don't want to swim or paddle or whatever you do to retrieve an RC boat. It was just kind of funny. It's a big model. It's got a 700 sized brushed motor in it. Like I said, it made me giggle a little bit just because it seems ridiculous. But as a person who's a huge fan of ridiculous ground-based RCs, I don't really have a lot of room to judge. But that's going to do it for this week's topics. This week's question though, speaking of the tugboat, it's an odd one, made me laugh. But at the same time, being in RC in general, can make for some interesting conversations with people who are not in RC, and having to try to explain, well, it's not like the RCs that you buy at Walmart or something like that. So for this week's question, how do you approach RC in the terms of when you go out? Do you go somewhere where you're gonna minimize interaction with people who are not going to understand what you're doing? Or do you just disregard all of it, go do whatever you want wherever, and just don't worry at all about what other people are wondering or thinking you're doing? I think it's something that a lot of us have likely ran into, whether it be family or relatives, neighbors, or just complete strangers. I'm interested to hear how you guys handled the situation. But with that, that's gonna do it for this week. As always, I appreciate you guys watching the Scale News Update. If you enjoy it, hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already, hit the notification bell so you see the videos as soon as they get updated. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.